They say the crocodile that swims in two rivers cannot escape the eyes of the gods forever. My name is Abeni, daughter of Alumide, and I have a tale so strange, it will rattle your bones like the thunder drums of the Harmattan storm. I was born in a small village near Osogbo, where the women still sing to the moon and the elders speak in proverbs. We are raised to believe that when something seems too sweet, the devil has dipped his finger in it. But I did not listen. I was young. And when Kola came into my life, he was sweeter than palm wine on a festival night. Kola was tall, rich, and quiet like a lion watching from the shadows. When he visited our village, he wore white agbada that danced in the wind, and his shoes shone like polished onyx. They said he was a businessman who had built cities in Dubai, bought islands near Seychelles, and dined with kings in Europe. To us, he was royalty without a crown. Women whispered when he walked by. Mothers tried to tempt him with their daughters, but Kola chose me. Me, Abeni, the daughter of a poor yam farmer. He said he liked my eyes, which were shaped like river stones. He liked my laugh, which reminded him of rain falling on dry leaves. He told my father he wanted to marry me, and my father, seeing his golden wristwatch and the car that hummed like a satisfied cheetah, gave his blessing. We were married under the full moon. The drummers played until the stars got drunk and slept. My village rejoiced, not knowing that the man I married had more secrets than the forest at midnight. Kola took me to the city. Not Lagos, no, Kola lived beyond cities. His mansion sat on a hill where the clouds knelt at his balcony every morning. The house had 37 rooms and I got lost the first week. There were guards who didn't blink, cooks who spoke French, and a driver who bowed every time he saw me. Kola said I should not worry about anything. My job was to enjoy life, be beautiful, and bear his children. For a while, I was happy. I wore silk robes that made me feel like a queen, ate food I could not pronounce, and slept on beds so soft they felt like clouds stitched with dreams. Kola traveled often London, New York, Tokyo, but he always returned with gifts, gold bangles, perfumes from Paris, and stories about the world beyond. Still, something gnawed at me, like a rat chewing quietly in the dark. Kola never let me into his office. He never let me answer his calls. And when he looked at me sometimes, it was like he was searching for someone else. One evening, I followed him. My heart pounded like a talking drum. He had told me he was flying to Germany, but I saw his car slide out of the gates after midnight. I called a taxi and told the driver to follow. We snaked through the city until we reached a place where the air changed, the kind of place where rich men mix with shadows. There was a club, not the kind where people dance and laugh, but one with no name, no windows, and a giant carved door that looked like the mouth of a beast. Kola walked in. I waited. Minutes passed like hours. Then I crept close and peeked through a crack. What I saw stole the breath from my lungs. Inside, my husband wore black robes, surrounded by men chanting in a language that tasted like ashes. In the center was a bowl of something red, thick, and steaming. My knees buckled. A man screamed and the others laughed. I ran. I ran like the spirits were chasing me. Back at the mansion, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the silence. When Kola returned 3 days later, I asked him about Germany. He smiled and told me the snow was heavy. I asked about the blood on his cuff. He said it was wine. That night, I dreamed of crocodiles in tuxedos and women drowning in gold. The truth burst through the seams 2 weeks later. I was watching TV when I saw him. Not Kola in his usual white robes, but Kola in a suit, standing beside a woman who looked like a carved goddess. The caption read, Nigerian-American tech billionaire Kwame and wife attend European royal gala. I blinked. Wife. I was his wife. So who was she? I froze the screen. His hand was on her waist, His lips whispered into her ear, my hands shook. I typed his name into the internet. Stories flooded the screen like a broken dam. Kola, the mysterious billionaire who built satellite cities in Kenya, Ghana, and the US. A tech god, a real estate emperor, a philanthropist, a man married to a woman named Celeste for 5 years, 5 years. Kola and I had been married for 3. I felt the world crack. Everything I knew melted into lies. The man who bought me roses, the man who kissed my forehead, the man who whispered in Yoruba while I slept, he was a ghost living in 2 worlds. By day, he was Abeni, savior of Silicon Africa. By night, he was Kola, my loving husband who brought me mangoes and danced with me in the rain. I confronted him. I printed the photos, the articles, even the wedding certificate of him and Celeste. I laid them on the bed like a priest preparing for ritual. He came in and saw them. His eyes darkened. The air grew heavy. "You weren't supposed to find out," he said. "Who are you?" I asked, voice shaking. He sat. The mask fell. "Both," he said. "I am Kola to you, Quame to the world. One life is duty, the other is desire." He told me Celeste was a political marriage arranged to secure investments and access. Their relationship was cold, strategic, but with me, he found warmth. He found home. "But you lied," I whispered. "I protected you," he said. "You are the only real thing I have." My tears betrayed me. My heart wanted to believe. But the ancestors say a man who hides his tongue has already bitten it with lies. I packed my things. He begged me to stay. Promised me the world, the moon, and the stars. But I no longer wanted galaxies stitched with deceit. I returned to Osogbo. My village welcomed me with songs and side eyes. Some called me a fool. Others said I had seen the world and survived. I did not explain. Some stories are too wild to be tamed by words. Months passed. One day, a package arrived. Inside was a letter and a deed to land, acres of fertile ground with streams that sang in the morning. Kola had bought it in my name. The letter read, "Even in your silence, I hear you. Build something real. I will always love you in all my lives." I cried, not for him, but for the girl who had danced in silk, kissed a shadow, and loved a man with 2 names. I built a school on that land, taught girls to read, speak, and question. I told them, the world will try to sell you love with gold. But love is truth, not shine. They call me Mama Abeni now. Some say I was the wife of a devil. Others say I was the muse of a genius. But I know what I was, a woman who tasted both heaven and hell in the arms of one man. And sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I smell his perfume on the air, and I smile, not with sorrow, but with the memory of a love too wild for one lifetime.